When it comes to the precious, biologically unique wildlife that we share Australia with, our leaders, regardless of their political persuasion, have just one job: to protect it. But today, the federal government has officially listed the koala as endangered in Queensland, New South Wales and the ACT. A steep 30% drop in numbers caused by the catastrophic 2020 fires and the ongoing burden caused by disease and habitat destruction.
The announcement today that Australia's koalas are officially endangered is just an absolute national shame. How on earth did we allow this to happen?
After announcing $50 million for their protection and recovery last week, the government says the endangered listing will make the job easier.
Coming out of the Black Summer fires, every Australian who cares so much about this iconic marsupial was asking the question about koala populations and reassuring those for the future. This listing adds priority when it comes to conservation of the koala.
The decision will see more federal scrutiny on developments and their impact on koala habitats. There will also finally be a national recovery plan, something that's been a legal requirement for a decade, but successive governments have failed to produce.
Urban development and infrastructure development is the key driver. There are big gaps in the law where you can legally destroy koala habitat, kill koalas with bulldozers, and there's very little recourse for community groups under the law to protect them.
You hear the Prime Minister and his Environment Minister talk about how important the koala is, yet they continue to keep giving approvals to miners and big companies to destroy and clear koala habitat. Well, we need a moratorium on this destruction immediately.
Well, Deborah Tabat is the chair of the Australian Koala Foundation. Deborah, the government says this endangered classification is a good thing, is it?
Well, I think it's pretty sad when a government has to say that when the koala was listed in 2012, they haven't written a recovery plan and now it's got worse. So no, I'm very unhappy about that, but at least they're acknowledging there is serious problems. But as always, there's never any detail in what they actually mean. And with an election coming up, it seems pretty much like an election comment rather than genuine commitment.
Deborah, the Federal Environment Minister, Susan Lee, claims that there's 180,000 koalas on the East Coast right now. Do those numbers stack up to you?
No. And look, well, if she can find 180,000 koalas, please show me where they are. We believe there's only between 40 to 80,000 animals left, and we do that by carrying capacity from our mapping. Seriously, if there was 180,000 koalas, this listing would not be able to get up. The criteria is too firm. So, I'm standing by our figures. But the sad part about the political process is that Minister Lee is my 14th Environment Minister, and I think there's been 11 Prime Ministers. So I have great cynicism that our country is committed to saving both the koala and the reef.
Am I missing something? Why would the government want to inflate the total number of koalas?
Because it just makes it easier, because the thing is, when the developers go into any site, it's far better for them to have no koalas. So while ever you obfuscate numbers, and they've been doing it to us for years, but I'm standing by our numbers, and if we're wrong, show us where they are and we'll increase the numbers. But at the moment, I'm going to stand firm on ours.
Deborah, will 50 million be enough to make a difference for the koalas?
Look, I don't think it's money. It's a commitment to protect the land and the habitat. So there's all manner of vested interests who do not want that. And in a Senate inquiry, you could actually hear industry say, God, please don't list the koalas. So it's not money, it's commitment. And that minister has the power to stop bulldozers any day she likes, even under the existing ruling, just by saying, I'm the minister, you have to stop that. And over 30 years, I've never seen one minister do that. So I'm allowed to be a cynic, I think.
So even with this commitment, Deborah, if the current apathy, which is what it sounds like you're talking about here, over successive governments, successive federal governments continues, how much longer have the koalas got?
Well, I said in 2018 that I think they're functionally extinct, and that means a koala living in the landscape today might have a joey, it might have a joey, but that'll be it. And that's my definition of functionally extinct. If I'm wrong, great. And over 30 years, I've been to a lot of this bush. I seriously have. And so there's a And I used to write to the ministers and say, look, I'm going to go bush and I'll show you the koalas and I'll give them all names. Because if you look at our Act or Acts on our website, you'll show that there's actually quite good habitat left, but no animals. And I think that's a legacy from the fur trade. When we actually have the manifests of 8 million skins that went to London and New York between 1890 and 1920. So the bottom line is we've been so shocking to them for 200 years, and I just wish our political leaders would do something meaningful. We've got the maps, we've got the numbers, and they don't even want to meet with us. So when you marginalise, it usually means you're telling the truth.
Deborah, thanks very much for your time tonight.
Thanks, Hamish.